discriminatory voting practices to get federal permission before changing election laws, saying that it'll be harder, if not impossible, to bring redistricting lawsuits under the Voting Rights Act without Section 2. And so right now, the argument that's currently ongoing there in the Supreme Court is that the plaintiffs say that a black majority congressional district in Louisiana drawn.
From Fox 5, this is The Noon.
Some breaking news now at noon. A parking garage partially collapses in White Plains, leaving cars crushed and roads closed. Welcome to The Noon. I'm Bianca Peters. Emergency crews responding to that incident on South Broadway right now. The mayor of White Plains expected to give an update on that situation at any minute. We've got live team coverage. Our Meredith Gorman standing by at the scene. But first, let's get out to Sky Fox's Dan Rice. Dan, what can you describe right now from what you're seeing up in the air?
And Bianca, what you're looking at over here, that building to the left, that is Westchester 1. And according to their website, this is their parking garage. It has 2,600 spaces in it. And about 9:45 this morning, there was an interior collapse inside, according to the Public Safety Office in Westchester County and White Plains. Now, what that means is some of the floors inside that building fell down to the floors below. Now, you see those pipes that are on the ground down there. When we arrived on the scene, we saw numerous firefighters picking up those pipes. They act as supports to try to keep any further collapses from happening inside the building. Over here on this end, this is where we saw the firefighters and emergency personnel focusing their efforts on the building down here. Right around the third, fourth floor is where we saw them looking in there. Unfortunately, because of where the collapse happened, we can't see it from the helicopter, but you can see a very large response down here. So far, no reports of any injuries. That's the good news, but we're seeing response from White Plains is a heavy rescue unit, and also from Yonkers collapse unit down there, trying to make sure they shore up the situation down there as best they can. But again, at this point, no injuries, as the reports at this point have at least one floor collapsing down to another floor, crushing several cars. Bianca, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Dan. Let's turn now to Fox 5 Meredith Gorman, who is live on the ground right now. Meredith, tell us what's happening behind you.
Bianca, well, there's a very, very large emergency response here right now. There's a bunch of fire trucks and police from different cities and different areas around this White Plains location. As you can see behind me, there are firefighters who are pulling wood planks out. It looks like they're really trying to stabilize the parking garage and making sure that it is stabilized right now. But a few of the area roads are blocked off to pedestrians and cars. Now, the collapse happened, like we said a little while ago, around 9:45 a.m. at Hale Avenue in South Broadway. And fire crews and engineers are still assessing the structure and clearing debris inside. Now, citizen video that we have shows a large emergency response, again, with police, fire trucks, and rescue teams on scene. And inside of the garage, you can see a metal beam and pieces of concrete that came crashing down, crushing several cars parked below. Now, officials did say that it appeared to me that one floor gave way and fell onto another deeper inside the garage. They have not given any word if there are injuries, but just a short time ago, the mayor of White Plains met inside of the building right in front of me here with the police commissioner and a few other people. They are expected to hold a press conference shortly if that still stands, and they'll hopefully give us more details and confirm that there were no injuries in this partial collapse. Bianca.
All right, Meredith, thank you so much for the update. Appreciate it. And some more developing news out of New Jersey. Over 30 people displaced in Hillside. This is after an explosion at an auto body shop. Let's get right out to Fox 5's Arthur Chien, who joins us live at the scene, where we're getting a closer look at the damage left behind today. Arthur.
Well, speaking of that closer look, let's give it to you right now. This is Maple Avenue in Hillside, New Jersey. You can see the amount of damage that's done there. There's one-story businesses on this row here, and that's the damage there. Let's go to the video right now, as we also need to mention that there's still a very heavy smell of smoke in the area. There's this odor that sort of is sitting over this area, and there's an occasional wind, and it seems to be going in different directions. So it's whatever is in the air here is spreading. Now, this is a look at the damage that this gas-fed explosion did last night, pretty much destroying the entire section of this block on Maple Avenue. It started in an auto body shop and became a 6-alarm fire, destroying at least 5 businesses and several homes that sit behind them. Now, there are 2 minor injuries reported. We're told those firefighters are going to be okay. Their fire chief says it was a gas line that ruptured here. They just briefed us. Take a listen in on what they had to say.
Chief, what were the explosions that witnesses told us they heard? What specifically was exploding, and what was in there that burnt that made you concerned about the air quality out here if you were the mayor responsible?
Well, the fire started within the auto body shop, and at that point you have a large amount of chemicals that are being ignited, fuel tanks, fuel storage, all types of oils and other contaminants and material that you would find inside of an automotive shop. So for that, you could have the tires exploding, the fuel tanks releasing, and then you're going to have a different series of explosions.
Now, here's video that was shot over the past couple of hours during the course of this morning as they are still fighting hot spots at the location. We can see water being poured on sections of the scene. The street and area, several streets in the surrounding areas are still closed, and the air quality, as we said, is a major concern. Now, residents were asked to stay inside if at all possible. A hazmat team has just cleared the scene here, but as we said, you can still smell these odors in the air here. Now, we come back to this live shot, and you can see one of the homes in the back, and it just shows the amount of heat that came off this fire and the amount of damage that was done. Bianca mentioned 30 some odd people who were displaced. That is one of the key concerns right now, getting those people back in their situation, but also about the businesses reopening. Officials just telling us it's going to take a little bit because with the fuel and everything, they want to make sure it hasn't leaked into the ground and hasn't leaked into the water. So that's the latest here from Hillside, New Jersey. Arthur Chien, Fox 5 News. Bianca, back to you.
Arthur, thanks for breaking that down for us and giving us an update. Let's turn now to this in developing news. We're a hearing taking place in New Jersey on the state's gun control laws. New Jersey Attorney General Matthew Platkin is fighting to keep restrictions in place that keep people in the state from owning assault rifles and firearms with large capacity magazines. Now, he points out that New Jersey's current common sense gun safety laws have resulted in record low numbers of shootings in the state over the past couple of years. Those in favor of owning assault weapons say they're protected under the Second Amendment. And a person in Nassau County tested positive for the chikungunya virus. New York State health officials say this is the first reported transmission of the mosquito-borne illness within the U.S. in 6 years. Its symptoms include fever, joint pain, headache, muscle pain, joint swelling, and rashes. Nassau County's health department said the unidentified person began experiencing symptoms in August after traveling outside of the region, but not out of the country. The chikungunya virus cannot be spread from person to person. It is rarely fatal, and most patients recover within a week. All right, developing news now. The Israeli military says one of the bodies handed over by Hamas is not that of a hostage, adding to tensions over the fragile truce in the 2-year war. Gaza's health ministry says it's received 45 additional bodies of Palestinians from Israel, 90 in total in all. Israel is awaiting the return of the bodies of 28 deceased hostages. Meanwhile, desperately needed humanitarian aid is headed for Gaza. Hundreds of trucks carrying food, fuel, and medical supplies bound for Gaza were seen moving from Egypt's Rafah crossing this morning. And more developing news. We're in day 15 of the government shutdown, and little progress has been made to end the stalemate as it enters its 3rd week. The hundreds of thousands of federal employees furloughed or working without pay face mounting financial strain, and now they're confronting new uncertainty with the Trump administration's promised layoffs. The Republican White House is leveraging federal workers' jobs to pressure Democrats to soften their demands. And then later today, the Senate will vote for the 9th time to reopen the government, but it is expected to fail. Also developing today, the Supreme Court taking up a major Republican-led challenge to the Voting Rights Act. A key provision of the law in the civil rights movement prohibits racial discrimination in redistricting. The justices will be hearing arguments in a case over Louisiana's congressional map, which has 2 majority black districts. A ruling for that state could open the door for legislatures to redraw congressional maps across the South. This could possibly boost Republican electoral prospects by eliminating majority black and Latino seats that tend to favor Democrats. All right, next at noon, we're following the very latest on the campaign trail in the race for New York City mayor. But first, meteorologist Audrey Puente is tracking the forecast for us. Hey, Audrey.
Hi, Bianca. Well, a much better weather day across the tri-state area for sure. We're seeing blue skies and sunshine once again. That's helped warm us up to 64 in Central Park. We have a few more clouds at LaGuardia with the same number there. 68 in Atlantic City. We're in store for a nice mild afternoon. I'll let you know how long this good weather will last when the noon continues.
All right, let's turn out to the very latest in the race for New York City mayor. All three candidates out campaigning today with Election Day just a few weeks away. Fox 5's Morgan McKay joins us live from Astoria, Queens with more on all of this. Hey, Morgan.
Hey, Bianca. Zora Mamdani was here in Queens earlier today to outline his two-tiered plan to hire more teachers. The city needs to hire around 10,000 teachers in order for schools to meet new class size requirements. And so Mamdani says he wants to provide incentives to help the city reach that goal. Now, the state legislature passed a bill a few years ago which limits how many students can be in a classroom. But the city has struggled to find teachers amid an ongoing state and national teacher shortage. Mamdani says he would look to recruit teachers two ways. One, he would work with the state to provide tuition assistance for students who are pursuing teaching degrees in exchange for a 3-year teaching commitment at a public school in the area. And two, he would have the Department of Education work with adults who want to change their careers to become a teacher by providing support and resources.
It is an initiative that we will pay for with $12 million a year. We're going to pay for it by actually taking on the close to $10 billion a year that we are currently spending within our education system on contracts and consulting, much of which is not only not standardized, not only duplicative, but also there are a number of those contracts that seem to have more in common with who the vendors know than what the work is that they're actually doing.
Curtis Liwa also out campaigning today. He sat down with the Association for a Better New York, where he outlined his plan to hire more officers to patrol the subways and streets. He also spoke about the highly anticipated debate tomorrow night, saying that he plans to put Mamdani and Andrew Cuomo in the same camp when it comes to crime. Liwa insisting that his public safety plan is the only one that focuses on victims. He also said that he plans to take the high road if he can.
Yeah, I'm right in the middle. Well, they're not going to like that. The camera is forced to be on me. Obviously, I'll be without beret, and I'm going to make my points. I know there's going to be a lot of hollering and hooting from both of them because they have their constituents to satisfy, and I'm going to try to, believe it or not, be the candidate who takes the high road.
And Andrew Cuomo also out campaigning a little later this afternoon, so we'll have that in our later shows. Reporting live, I'm Morgan Mackay. Bianca, back to you.
More weeks to go. Morgan, thanks so much for staying on top of it. And for the very latest on the New York City's mayor's race, tune in to Battleground NYC, the Fight for Your Vote, hosted by SE Cup. You can catch that weeknights at 7 p.m. on the Fox Local app and after the 10 o'clock news on Fox 5. We're remembering those who lost their lives in the line of duty. Next at noon, the annual unveiling of the NYPD's Police Memorial Wall in Battery Park City. Well, Mayor Eric Adams was on hand for the annual unveiling of the NYPD Police Memorial Wall in Battery Park City. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch joined for that unveiling. The annual ceremony honors those who lost their lives in the line of duty. The NYC Police Memorial is located at Liberty Street and South End Avenue and was first dedicated on October 20th, 1997. And Fox 5 continuing to put a spotlight on the annual Tunnel to Towers 5K Run and Walk, which has become a special family affair for many who lost loved ones during the September 11th attacks. Among those who take part every year, Keegan and Kevin Muldowney. Fox 5's Jody Goldberg shows us how they first got involved.
For cousins Keegan and Kevin Muldowney, the Tunnel to Towers 5K Run and Walk started as something they did every other year.
It's always emotional. It's always great to support the people that are there.
But over time, it's become a family tradition, one neither cousin ever misses.
We actually plan our family vacation around the Tunnel to Towers 5K in New York.
Keegan from upstate and Kevin from Long Island come from a family of first responders. Each year they walk to honor Richie Muldowney Jr., Kevin's brother and Keegan's cousin, and also their cousin Kenny Watson, both tragically lost in the September 11th attacks.
I'm a retired New York City detective. When I was working, he would call me. If I knew he was working, I would call him at the firehouse, and we would chat. And then at the end of the conversation, we always end up with have a safe tour. Every time.
Those words became a promise Kevin carries every day.
He was supposed to be relieved earlier, but unfortunately then they got a sign down there and he jumped on the rig. No second thoughts. That's the way it was.
And more than 2 decades later, the Muldowneys continue to honor the memory of the men they loved. Richie.
He was the consummate fireman. He wanted to be on every job. He wanted to help people. He wanted to save people.
And Kenny.
He was a great fireman. They adored him. Whatever they needed to be done, Kenny was the guy.
At the 24th annual Tunnel to Towers 5K run and walk, the Muldowneys' presence was hard to miss.
We had over 100 of us.
They raised over $130,000 for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, which builds smart homes for catastrophically injured veterans and pays off mortgages of fallen first responder and Gold Star families with young children.
We contribute as little or as much as possible each year to help the foundation.
And at this year's 5K, CEO Frank Siller wore Richie's pin, a subtle but powerful tribute to one firefighter's courage and a family's forever promise.
We want to extend their legacy forever.
This lighthouse was built by the Muldowney Foundation, not just for Richie, but for everyone from Freeport who was lost on September 11th and since. It's a reminder of the ways in which the community continues to come together.
There's also a street sign dedicated to Richie. And Jones Beach Brewing Company brews a beer in his memory.
Once I got the phone call that they were going to produce it, I said, well, I guess we've done everything now. You know, he would have been happiest man having a beer named after him.
It's a toast to the heroes who sacrifice everything, with all proceeds going to Tunnel to Towers.
We want to make sure when you see his lighthouse, when you see his street sign, when you take a sip of his beer, the saying is never forget, and that's what we want.
And they won't forget the heroes and what the Tunnel to Towers Foundation continues to do for so many each and every day.
They do God's work, in my opinion, and we are so blessed to be a part of it.
Jody Goldberg, Fox 5 News.
We certainly are. All right, let's turn now to weather, see what's in store for us this afternoon. A little bit clearer than it was yesterday. Meteorologist Audrey Fuentes at the Weather Center with more. Audrey, does look a lot nicer than it did.
It definitely feels nicer too, Bianca, for sure. We have milder temperatures out there. We have plenty of sunshine coming through the cloud cover. Blue skies are being spotted across parts of the area. We do have some overcast skies in other regions, which I'll show you in just a moment. We are expecting it to be windy and cooler tomorrow, so enjoy today. Get outside and enjoy the milder temperatures. And we have a nice dry stretch of weather taking us right into the weekend here. And it also will turn a little bit milder too. Our highs will be close to 70 across parts of the region over the weekend. Right now we're at 64 in Central Park. We're closing in on 70 though over towards Newark Liberty Airport at 66 down the shore in Belmar. Same number being found in Islip. 62 for you in East Hampton. We're at 59 in Bridgeport, 60 in Poughkeepsie, and 58 up towards Monticello. Now all of these temperatures are running a bit milder than they were at this time yesterday, so that does make for a more comfortable feel across the region. So we've had a cloud deck in place. There's been breaks here and there. It's been basically a mix of sun and clouds through the morning. We had a couple of early morning showers too, especially across parts of the Hudson Valley, Connecticut, and grazing portions of Long Island. I'm going to leave in the chance for an isolated sprinkle over the next hour or two. However, the clouds are expected to clear the region here by this afternoon, and it looks like we'll have plenty of sunshine as we close out our Wednesday here. So here it is on our future cast. We can see that cloud deck will slowly work its way southeastward here. It's just really slow in this motion here, and we will see plenty of sunshine as we go along through the rest of the afternoon. And tonight it will lead us to mostly clear skies. We're expecting more sunshine as we go into Thursday. Again, dry weather stays with us right until the end of the week. So looking for temperatures to stick it out in the middle to upper 60s. Tonight we'll drop back into the 50s in the city. I'll detail out the next several days for you and the upcoming weekend when the noon continues.
Welcome back. Well, Smucker's is suing Trader Joe's over what it claims is a copycat version of its Uncrustable sandwiches. The suit filed in federal court on Monday accuses Trader Joe's of trademark infringement for selling the pre-made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Now, Smucker's alleges that the packaging and design of Trader Joe's version closely mimics its version of the sandwiches. Because of this, Smucker's accused the grocery store chain of deceiving customers into thinking the store's product was sponsored or affiliated with it. And Walmart partnering with OpenAI in a deal that will allow customers to shop using ChatGPT. The retailer said this new offering will give customers the option to chat and buy. That means Walmart's products would be available through instant checkout in ChatGPT. Users will be able to buy anything from meal ingredients or household items to other goods that they might be discussing with the chatbot. The companies did not specify when ChatGPT users would be able to start purchasing Walmart products in the platform. And the Saks Fifth Avenue Holiday Light Show coming back next month. After taking a break last year, the light show will return with a reimagined spectacle on November 24th, right on Fifth Avenue, across from Rockefeller Center. Now, Saks says to expect a dazzling, state-of-the-art show where the lights will dance to a curated medley of uplifting music. That show will run from November 24th through Christmas, repeating every few minutes after sunset until 11 p.m. And October is ADHD, Depression, and Menopause Awareness Month. And for many women, those three things collide. Up next, the expert calling it invisible ADHD explains how to tell if it's stress or something more.
Without the work of New York City's agencies, your city would look like this. But because your agencies deliver for you, a record number of new homes have been created. Streets are safer with crime down citywide. And there's a brand new universal after-school program for our kids. That's how city agencies are delivering for families, making this the very best place for yours. New York City, delivering for you, every day, everywhere.
Well, it is 12:30 right now. Welcome back to the news. We've got a whole lot more coming up here, starting with this. Debunking some very viral dental trends. I know you've seen them on TikTok. Dr. Jason Auerbach is here to clean up some TikTok myths about teeth. You got to stick around to see what he says. And then later, it's one of the best ranked bars in the world, and it's actually right here in Manhattan. Stay tuned for a taste of schmuck. But first, let's get another live look outside on this Wednesday. Looking a whole lot better than it did yesterday. A lot less rain in the clouds, Audrey, so that's something we can be happy about today.
Yes, we're experiencing much drier weather pattern here, Bianca, and that's going to take us right into the upcoming weekend, which of course is when we like our really good weather. Right now we're at 64 degrees in Central Park. Off to the north we have 65 in White Plains. It's 59 for you in Bridgeport, 60 up in Poughkeepsie, and 58 over towards Monticello. We're faring pretty well at Belmar. We're at 65 degrees and we're in the 60s out across Long Island. Now our winds are still getting our attention today. They're running between, let's say, 10 to 15 miles per hour on average, but we have had gusts as high as 23 in Newark, 22 miles per hour being reported out of Islip, same thing in Bridgeport, and 24-mile-per-hour winds. Now decreased to 17, though, in Monticello, and 18 over towards Sussex. So it will continue to be breezy this afternoon. Tomorrow we'll have even stronger wind gusts, and with cooler temperatures, that's going to make it feel pretty chilly for your Thursday. In the meantime, we do have some clouds in place. It's generally a mix of sun and clouds across the region. We had a couple of isolated showers pass through earlier. You can see there's more action happening across Connecticut. Some of that has kind of worked its way towards the Twin Forks here, so we could get a spot shower early, but eventually the rain showers and the clouds will clear out just in a couple of hours or so, and we'll see plenty of sunshine before it sets later on this evening. But you can see the bulk of the moisture is off towards our northeast here into New England, but we're still getting clipped or grazed across parts of the region here off to the east of the city. So in the meantime, high pressure will be starting to come in here behind that system, and it will set us up for a very nice finish to the week. We're expecting plenty of sunshine, dry weather, and even turning milder as we go into the upcoming weekend. Here it plays out in our futurecast. So we have that cloud deck in place. Again, there's some peaks of sun, but generally we'll go into mostly sunny skies before the sun sets this evening. Tonight will be mostly clear, nice and dry. A little bit chilly, though. Our lows will be dropping down into the 40s, and tomorrow it'll be an even cooler day. It'll also be quite brisk and blustery, too. Our wind gusts will be at about 25 miles per hour, so even though we'll see clear skies and plenty of sunshine, it will feel chilly, especially in the shade tomorrow, so you may want to add an extra layer on your Thursday as you head out the door. Friday looking good, plenty of sunshine. We continue with this dry weather pattern. Our winds will be lighter on Friday, too, and we have the start of what's going to be a really nice weekend across the entire Northeast here. So a quick check of the tropics here. The National Hurricane Center still watching Lorenzo, which is kind of losing its organization here. It's looking rather disorganized here out in the Atlantic. We're also watching this wave coming off the coast of Africa. That could develop into a system as we go into the weekend and the beginning of next week. So right now, Lorenzo, still a tropical storm with its winds at 40 miles per hour. But again, it's kind of losing its organization. So it's expected to actually dissipate over the next 24 hours and will be along in our distant memory. All right, today 66 degrees is our forecast high in Central Park. A little bit windy at times. Look out for a breeze that'll make it feel a little cool in the shade. 44 for tonight's low, so it's going to be pretty cold. 30s in some of the suburbs and still a little bit windy. Tomorrow, those winds pick up. They'll be gusting to 25 miles per hour, so it'll be cooler too with a high of 59, making it feel closer, maybe 49. So it's going to be a bit chillier tomorrow. But then we rebound nicely as we go into the end of the week. Temperatures approaching 70 by Sunday, and our next chance of rain comes in late on Sunday into Monday. Bianca?
All right, Audrey, thanks so much. Very excited about our next guest here. If you've ever felt distracted, forgetful, or constantly behind, it might not just be burnout. October is ADHD, Depression, and Menopause Awareness Month, and a whole lot of women are realizing that these things can overlap in ways that make life harder every day. Shayna Pearson is the author of Invisible ADHD, Proven Mood and Life Management for Smart Yet Scattered Women. I am definitely one of those. My family will tell you. Scattered woman right here. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us a little bit of insight onto what this is. I love talking about this because I feel like ADHD is something that a lot of people think this is diagnosed a bunch of little hyper boys, right. But it affects a lot of women in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, and now we're just starting to realize it. Well, where is this all coming from now?
We're starting to realize it now because, well, there's a lot more attention going on to it, thank goodness. But when a lot of us were younger, we all went under the radar because our symptoms are much more internal, invisible, and they're very emotional, and so it gets mistaken a lot for just general moodiness, or even anxiety or depression, and people are just were and still are sometimes very confused.
Confused and also maybe afraid to speak about these symptoms, which for the first time I'm saying this, professionally diagnosed with ADHD. Yep. I've been diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and it's scary to talk about because you think there's something wrong with me. Absolutely. But the thing is, I've been able to manage this my whole life. However, when you feel on the edge of burnout, you realize that there's something going on behind and inside, and I think this book is something that can help a lot of women.
It will 100% help a lot of women. It'll help women whether they have ADHD or just severe overwhelm, or when if you're a woman and you're in the phase of life where you're going through perimenopause or menopause, your estrogen levels decline. And so when your estrogen regulates dopamine. So when your estrogen declines, your dopamine declines as well. So now all of the strategies that you've been trying to, that you've been holding on to get you from point A to point B, all of those strategies effectively stop working. And so you need new tools and strategies to get you.
Oh, I am feeling that very much right now. And I know perimenopause can hit women when they get 35, 36, 37, even sometimes before that. But talk to us about the difference between, and maybe there is a lot of overlap here, anxiety and ADHD, and maybe we're not realizing that these two can kind of hold hands together.
They really do, and there's a huge amount of overlap. So for women who have ADHD, one of the things that almost all of us do is we are constantly catastrophizing, we are ruminating. We tend to focus on the negative stimulus because it's engaging for our brain, and we don't realize why we do it. We don't want to be doing it, but that's what our brain gravitates towards. And so we're in that all the time. And then when you go to your doctor and you talk about these things, they will give you a screening for anxiety or even depression. And I actually brought this with me. So, I mean, you won't be able to see what's on here, but all of the,
if you could read the first
all of
two
the symptoms that they screen for anxiety, feeling nervous, anxious, or on edge, trouble relaxing, not being able to control your worrying, these are all also symptoms for women who have ADHD. So a lot of women with ADHD will be misdiagnosed with anxiety or depression, and sometimes even mismedicated for years, or sometimes even their entire life, without even knowing that it's been ADHD all along.
Let me ask you a question. When you can go to the doctor and take a screening test like this, which is something that I've done as well, you can get prescribed medication. I think that maybe some women are reluctant to take it because they're like, I have to be on this to function for the rest of my life. What are your thoughts on that in terms of women maybe being hesitant about being medicated?
I feel like when it comes to medication for ADHD, it's very important to take the medication that's going to work to keep you focused, but not completely tunnel vision focus. So a lot of times what seems to be working for a lot of our clients is the dosage that they're prescribed. Cut it in half or even by a third, and take less. And so that'll take away a lot of the zombie effect that a lot of people experience, but it will help you focus on what you need to be focused on, because the medication, it creates this type of blinders, right, where you're able to do what you need to do, but it doesn't actually come with a rule book. It doesn't help you focus on the right things. So,
well, I was going to say, the book that you're talking about here, where can people find it and get more information on it?
You can find this book anywhere books are sold, and you can find me at ADHDcoaching.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here and shedding a little bit of light on this. I know a lot of women would appreciate the information.
You're welcome.
All right, well, we still have more news straight ahead. Stay with us. Well, Netflix has reached a deal with Spotify to bring video podcasts to the streaming service. The two companies have announced a partnership to bring a select number of podcasts from Spotify to Netflix's platform. Some of the podcasts include the Bill Simmons podcast, the Zach Lowe Show, the Rewatchables, and more. The video podcast will be available on Netflix in early next year, with more titles expected in the future. And Broadway is entering its fall season on a high note at the box office. Hamilton earned more than $4 million last week. That's the highest gross in its 10 years on Broadway. One reason may be the return of Leslie Odom Jr. as Aaron Burr. Another could be the average ticket price increase by nearly $30 to $376. And Beetlejuice returned to Broadway last week with a strong showing. It pulled in more than $1 million for its first 7 performances at the Palace Theater. Meanwhile, the first 4 previews of Queen of Versailles made nearly $776,000. The average ticket price is $131. The show stars Kristen Chenoweth as Jackie Siegel and was sold out. All right, from pineapple juice before surgery to do-it-yourself whitening tricks, TikTok is so full of dental hacks. But next at noon, we're going to find out if any of them actually work. The bloody tooth guy sets the record straight. Stay tuned. Well, it is Dental Hygiene Month, and while social media loves to tell us how to get a whiter, brighter smile, not everything you see on TikTok belongs anywhere near your pearly whites. Joining us now in studio is renowned oral surgeon Dr. Jason Auerbach, better known online as, this is the craziest name and I love it so much, you'll never forget it, at Bloody Tooth Guy. He's here breaking down what dental trends are total myths and what actually works. First of all, Bloody Tooth Guy, like how can you forget that?
That's the point.
And how did this come to be?
It actually started by one of my closest friend's daughters had a small stuffed animal named Broken Tail Guy, and just the sound of it made sense to me. So back maybe 10 years ago, I said, let's come up with something that's interesting, catchy, and tells the story.
Absolutely.
As an oral surgeon, Bloody Tooth Guy did what it needed to do.
And that can signal some things wrong in your mouth if you're having bloody teeth, especially on the gums. So let's talk about these trends that you see on TikTok, because I feel like if it's something, it's, you know, it changes in a month, whether it's all these TikTok trends, what makes them go so viral? And then sometimes are you watching, you're like, oh my gosh, why are people doing this?
Yeah, so much of what goes on there has really a little bit of basis in fact, but really not so importantly clear as to why people are actually doing what they're doing. So a lot of your audience and a lot of the kids of your audience see this stuff, they follow it, and sometimes it's great, sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it can be hurtful.
So before we get into the TikTok trends, what's one simple thing that you can tell viewers or your patients to do every day to kind of keep the teeth and the mouth healthy?
So I think it really starts out by preventive care, going to see your dentist, the dental hygienist who really is the gatekeeper. The mouth is, we talk about it as being kind of the gateway to the body. Sure. And if the mouth is the gateway to the body, the dental hygienist, and it's Dental Hygiene Month as October, is really the gatekeeper to that. Mm-hmm. And so if you go and you see your dentist on a regular basis, preventive care, things are found early. Yeah. Not much ever really needs to be done for you. Well,
while I have you here in the seat, maybe I get some professional advice here. I am so scared to get my wisdom teeth pulled. I only did one side. Right. The other side's just left in. Yeah. What can help? Like, is there things, I know one of the myths we're talking about, or the prompts, drinking pineapple juice before wisdom teeth surgery reduces swelling.
Yeah, so there is definitely some fact to that. There is a substance in pineapple called bromelain, which is an enzyme that has pretty good anti-inflammatory properties. Okay. The problem is if you need enough of it, or if you take enough of it, there's some damaging aspects to taking that much.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the best thing to do, see a board-certified oral maxillofacial surgeon, follow his or her post-op instructions, ice, rest, and you'll be great.
Okay, so you're like, go get the other half pulled out. Yeah. Don't leave it in there. Okay, we have a couple more to go. We'll do this one, fact or flop, TikTok edition. Fair. Oil pulling with coconut oil can whiten your teeth.
It's definitely not a whitener. It's not bad. Mm-hmm. It's healthy for the overall microbiome, but it's definitely not something that's going to lead to really profound whitening of your teeth.
What about fitness gum helps your jawline?
So everyone loves a strong-looking jaw, and we know hypertrophy, actually exercise yields strength and growth of the muscle. But the damage that you could do to your temporomandibular joint, which is the joint between your skull and your lower jaw, can be pretty significant.
Ooh.
So
okay, we'll stay away from the fitness gum.
Stay away from the fitness gum.
Whitening strips every day for faster results?
Definitely the more the better, but you're better off seeing a dental professional, having it done in the office, monitored, and this way there's no damage to the soft tissue, and you can't really overdo it that way.
This one's pretty crazy, and I guess people are doing this on TikTok. Hydrogen peroxide from your medicine cabinet works as mouthwash. What?
No, it doesn't. And if you ever use hydrogen peroxide as an oral rinse, you must dilute it. It could affect the tissues in a really negative way. Your gums, your oral soft tissue. Stay away from it for sure.
Okay, so where can people find out more information about you? You're going to give some real facts, no flops here. Where can they find you?
Just follow me on Bloody Tooth Guy on Instagram and TikTok, and riversideoralsurgery.com.
All right.
That's it.
Making me a little bit more, I'm like, okay, maybe I should get the other wisdom teeth pulled out. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, we have more news straight ahead. Stay with us. We're going to be right back after this.
Cuomo.
Well, New York has plenty of hit bars, but a brand new New York spot with an interesting name just made it onto a very special list. It's called Schmuck in the East Village, and it now ranks as one of the hottest bars around the world. Fox 5's Jessica Formoso went to check it out.
New York City is known for its nightlife scene, and with that, its cocktails.
It's cocktail culinary blend of deliciousness.
The new hotspot, Schmuck, in the East Village. As for the unusual name,
we knew we wanted to be in New York. We knew we wanted to be in this neighborhood, and it felt like the name was too good to pass on. So we were like, Schmuck is amazing. We wanted to keep it minimal. We wanted just to call it Schmuck, and you know, everyone every now and again is a bit of a schmuck. So it's relatable, I guess.
The cocktail bar has been open less than a year, yet it has a lot to celebrate after being one of the New York City bars making the 2025 extended list of the world's 50 best bars. The new kid on the block snagged the number 59th spot.
We just had our heads down working. It's a voting process by 800 judges, so you never know who's a judge when they're coming in. But I guess we're just lucky. We're in New York. People came through. They liked it, and they voted for it.
Mo Al-Jaff is the co-owner. He says he didn't expect it, being that they were only open for 5 months when the voting took place.
We're trying to do like a very high quality of like cocktails and service, but in a very approachable, easygoing environment.
So what is it about Schmuck that's attracting crowds?
It's a cocktail bar dressed as a house party and with a heavy focus on design.
It's the decor, the vibe, the hospitality, and of course, the perfectly crafted drinks.
Harmony of design, ambiance, hospitality, cocktail, creativity. Any direction you look, I feel like they've set and exceeded the bar for the cocktail scene in New York.
The innovation, the excitement, I mean, you're experiencing something new with every drink, so it's all you could want, I think, in a good cocktail bar.
Now, Schmuck didn't make the top 50 list because they didn't meet the criteria, but everyone in here tells me that they will be on that list next year, and I have to say, I agree. In the East Village, I'm Jessica Formoso, Fox 5 News.
Looks good. All right, a feline frenzy out in the Mediterranean. Next at noon, why an estimated 1 million feral cats call Cyprus home. Plus, foliage flop, why some might be feeling unimpressed with the looks of the leaves this fall. We'll explain.
Fox 5.
Well, leaf peepers not that impressed with the fall foliage this season, and weather experts say weeks of stubborn drought is to blame. According to the data from the U.S. Drought Monitor, more than 40% of the nation was considered to be in a drought throughout the beginning of October. A lack of water causes leaves to turn brown and fall off their branches faster than usual. While some leaf peepers are noticing a difference, many are still grateful there's still at least some varying shades to observe.
Coming from Florida, where we don't have 4 seasons at all and nothing changes color, it just goes from green to greener, we haven't really noticed it. It's not dampened the experience at all. It's been great.
Well, going forward, some conservationists are confident that impacted forests will be able to rebound throughout future seasonal weather patterns. Speaking about weather, let's get a final check of the forecast with Audrey Puente standing by with more. Audrey, I know the leaf peeping season definitely affected, but you can still see some stuff happening in Central Park.
Yes, and you will see some color, but I think this season it's going to be muted because, like you said, of the lack of rainfall. We're about 8 inches in a deficit in Central Park, and the mild temperatures that we've been experiencing too since late summer into early fall too. In fact, today we're seeing some really nice numbers. We're finally clearing out of the nor'easter that's been plaguing us over the last few days. A few lingering showers are crossing portions of New England, kind of creeping their way into east end of Long Island, and we do have some clouds in place, giving for a mixed sky right now. But those clouds are going to clear the coast, giving us mostly sunny conditions by the day's end. We're looking at high temperatures mostly in the middle to upper 60s. Tonight we drop back into the 40s in the city, 30s in the suburbs. So that's a cold night ahead of us with mostly clear skies, and that's going to lead us into a chilly day tomorrow. We're looking at a high of only 59 in Central Park, but it will be a windy day, so it will feel more like 49. But then we rebound by the weekend, close to 70 by Sunday. Bianca?
Sounds great, Audrey. Thanks so much. Well, that's our show. But before we go, here's one last thing to leave you with. You've heard of a crazy cat lady, but how about a crazy cat island nation? That is the case in Cyprus. Despite cats being a tourist attraction there, officials are finally saying there are just too many of them. How many are there? How about an estimated 1 million feral cats? That's one cat for every person on the island. The government says that they've had a sterilization program, but admits it's no longer enough. So that budget increasing. The government is also looking to create an app to track the cats. Officials also want to legalize private cat sanctuaries. Interesting. We'll see you tomorrow. 25 Words or Less is next. If you want more news, tune into the Fox local app streaming right now.
You are taking a live look outside at New York City on this Wednesday, October 15th. We're going to get to weather in just a moment, but for now, welcome to Newsroom Live, everybody. I'm Antoine Lewis, happy to be with you on this day. We have a couple of developing stories that we quickly want to get to, the first of which is in White Plains, New York, just north of where we are here in the city. Meredith Gorman is on the scene of a partial garage collapse. I'm going to bring Meredith into the conversation in right now. Meredith, I see you. Just take it away. We see a lot of equipment going on behind you. What took place today?
Oh, Antoine, you know, it's crazy. I can barely hear you because of the sound of the fire trucks all around me. This isn't even a smidge of the fire department response. There's fire crews from a handful of different area towns and cities here on site. But we just heard from a press conference that wrapped up minutes ago that this incident, the call came in at 9:08 a.m., which is honestly just minutes after the morning rush. Actually, a caller called about a partial garage collapse while they were on the floor that collapsed, and somehow no one was injured. Now, if you look behind me here, you can see the garage here, and the collapse happened on the 4th floor. It partially collapsed into the 5th floor. There were about 14 to 15 cars in the collapse zone, officials just said. And right now, the cause is under investigation, but there are, I would say, about 100 firefighters inside shoring up and stabilizing the garage and the columns inside. They've been carrying a bunch of wood planks and wood columns inside, trying to stabilize the beams. The crazy part, again, is this all happened right after the morning rush. But again, there's still a handful of cars left on that floor of the garage that collapsed. There's also a bunch of cars on the other about 12 stories of this garage. Officials say for those who have their cars inside, the first step is having the engineers come on site next, and then they're going to make sure everything is stabilized before any cars can go in or out of the garage. And again, that's something that they'll have an update for people later. But there are some traffic closures around the neighboring streets while people are still, again, dealing with this immediate aftermath of the partial garage collapse. But again, you know, officials are saying right now that it's just a miracle that no one was injured, let alone the person that was on the floor of the garage when the partial collapse happened. Again, 9:08 in the morning. It's when people are just getting to work or have just gotten to work. There's a bunch of offices nearby. This is a privately owned garage, so some private engineers will be on site shortly, but we're expecting there to be a large response and mutual aid response here for the rest of the day. Antoine?
Yeah, it certainly looks like it, Meredith. And just one more thing, cars. I'll speak up. I know I'll talk a little bit louder. I know you're trying to compete with the noise back there as far as listening. Tell us about the cars. Were any cars again smashed or any of that? Did that take place?
Yeah, there's a few cars that got smashed in the collapse, and again, firefighters and police just said in the press conference that there's about 14 or 15 cars that are on that 4th floor of the partial collapse. So once the building's fully stabilized and engineers deem it okay, I think they're going to start letting people retrieve their car if it's safe on there obviously at their own risk. But again, it's so crazy, Antoine, to think about the fact that no one was injured. 9:08 a.m. I mean, it's such a busy time of day.
Okay. All right, Meredith, look, I'm not yelling at you. I'm just projecting. I know it's loud out there. So
I know, sorry if I'm yelling at you.
No,
too.
It's okay. You're in the middle of breaking news, so we're going to let you get to it. You and the crew there, Dan Foley and Paul Zimmerman, you all stay safe. We'll see you again at 4 o'clock. All right, good report. Thank you so much for that, Meredith.
Sounds great.
All right, from Meredith now we're going to go to another developing story at an auto shop in New Jersey. Arthur Chien is there. There was an explosion and about 30 businesses and people were displaced. Let's bring Arthur into the conversation now. And Arthur, I see you. I see you've got the mask on. I see the smoldering behind you. Can you hear me? You good?
Yeah, apologies, Antoine. The air out here got really bad just a short time ago. It's been periodically like that. This is Maple Avenue here in Hillside, New Jersey. And if you want to see what a hotspot looks like before it grows, our photojournalist Roy Purporti is pushing in right now on one of the hotspots. It's beginning to smoke up, and that's what will really take the air quality down over here. Now I'm going to ask him to pan to the right as well. As he's panning, what you don't see behind here is at least half a dozen cars, because when we get to that final wall over there, you'll see that that is the entrance to the auto body shop and a car shop, and all that's left is that wall. Now we're going to swing back over to the forefront here so you can see what it looked like out here when the explosion actually took place. People saw a fire. They didn't think it was that serious, although there was They obviously responded to it with all urgency, and then there was an explosion. You see the amount of bricks that just came straight off of this and littered the street. So it was a very powerful blaster, as gas explosions tend to be. Let's show you video right now that we were able to obtain of a Ring camera that shows that explosion. It shows the explosion actually happening from one of the residents across the street. As you pointed out, there are a lot of businesses displaced here, at least 5 of them. One was a florist, one was a beauty salon. Everybody here knows these businesses. Some of them have been in this area for a very long time, and obviously that auto body shop is done for the time being as well. But the air quality remains a problem, and also the people who live behind this strip over here. Royce, zooming into one of the buildings in the back, and you can see even at this distance how hot it was. So the heat was one thing that was more immediate last night into this morning as they continue to put water on the scene here, but also the smoke that was let out here. Now, one of the main issues here is in an auto body shop, you have fuel, you have other equipment, tires, and when those burn, it is considered very toxic. So the residents around here are very concerned about the air quality, and city officials say they're worried about what's going into the ground. If the fuel tank exploded, which it looks like it did, then is it seeping into the ground, and is it seeping into the water? There's a crew over here to the right that's digging up the street, presumably to get to the fuel line, and I'll stay out of the way as we show you that as well. So that's the scene here right now. City officials are all here. The fire chief has been here the whole time we've been here, as well as the mayor. They're watching this very closely. Luckily, however, nobody was hurt. There were 2 minor injuries. The firefighters were told that they're fine. And that's the scene here, Antoine.
Arthur, I know that the news conference wrapped up just a minute ago, and just wanted to ask you, did officials say to the degree of like what they encountered, like how they approach something when you have flammable liquids like that? You've got cars with presumably gas and fuel inside that. Did they get into that, their approach when they first got on scene?
Yes. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Antoine. This was a 6-alarm fire.
Wow.
So the response to it is immense. When we arrived, there was a hazmat team. There seems to be a little bit of conflicting information in terms of the air quality at this point. The hazmat team left. We were told it was okay, but then we saw this, and the cops were clearing people out of the area, indicating that maybe that had shifted. So, and seeing this smoldering right now is not of comfort, and also the wind's not going in any one direction. It's been going in different directions, so everybody in this neighborhood is getting it at this point.
All right, Arthur, you put that mask back on. We're going to let you go. You, Roy, and our other crew out there, you all stay safe. Thank you so much for that report. And again, Arthur's in Hillside, New Jersey. All right, sir. Stay safe. Thank you. Good to see you. All right, developing also, we want to go to the nation's capital right now. We want to bring you up to speed on the very latest in the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. As far as developing right now, the Israeli military is saying that one of the bodies that was handed over by Hamas is not that of a hostage, which is adding tensions to the fragile truce in this 2-year war. Now, Gaza's health ministry is saying that it received 45 additional bodies of Palestinians from Israel. 90 in total is that number there. Israel is still awaiting the return of the bodies of 28 deceased hostages. So as our understanding is that they've received 8 as of yesterday. The other 20 they're still waiting on. In the meantime, desperately needed humanitarian aid is headed to Gaza. You can see the video right now. Hundreds of trucks. Now, this right here should be Egypt, as I was reading on this before we came to you at 1 o'clock. And this is just one of the checkpoints that they're just making sure everything that's going in is going to get to that strip. But we're talking food, fuel, medical supplies, all bound from Gaza. Again, we're looking at Egypt, and that's at the Rafah crossing. This is where this video is. And as we brought to you and reported to you yesterday, it appears that many in that strip, in the Gaza Strip, are on the verge of famine, if you will, because of the war. But for right now, again, the ceasefire is in effect. That's taking place. Israel is saying that they are still expected to receive the bodies of all of the deceased hostages, and Palestinians were given in exchange exchange some 1,900 prisoners that were taken by Israel. So that's the very latest that we have for you right there. It's 1:12. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking weather with meteorologist Audrey Pointe. And what does the leaf situation look like for all of you leafers who like to go up and check that out? Well, we have an update for you. We'll talk about it when we come back. All right, welcome back. 1:14 on your Wednesday, October 15th. As you're taking a live look outside at New York, that looks a little west sidey, doesn't it? Oh, well, the shot just changed. But nonetheless, I thought it was warmer today than it had been, Ms. Pointe. Audrey Pointe joining us now to talk about the forecast. It felt a little warm to me walking in today.
It is. It's milder across the region. We had sunshine coming through these clouds finally, so that's helping to warm things up. We're in the 60s right now across much of the area. You know, a little less wind, a little less rain, a little less clouds. That makes everything nicer, right?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Yes, we're at 65 already in Central Park, so it definitely, if you can get out for some lunchtime sunshine, this is the day to do it. We have a little bit of a wind still across the region, not quite as blustery as it was over the last few days. However, the winds will continue to be breezy today. Tomorrow, you're going to feel the difference. So, 25-mile-per-hour gusts expected tomorrow, Antoine, and the temperature is going to drop a bit, highs in the 50s. So it is going to feel colder tomorrow, but it's brief. Then we kind of rise back up the thermometer, and by the end of the weekend, we're going to be near 70 degrees across parts of the area.
Really?
Yourself, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I can start making plans.
Yeah.
Okay, 70 degrees.
Yeah, and we have a mix of sun and clouds right now. In some parts, it looks a little overcast, but this is all moving out, and we're going to break into full sunshine probably in just another hour or two. And we'll have plenty of sun before it sets later on this evening.
All right, so now we're looking at what's going on now with the radar. Again, it's the past 3 hours. We're seeing that it's pushing through. No systems on the horizon at all, it looks like, right?
Yeah, not after today. We look clear and dry up until late Sunday night into Monday.
All right.
So we have a nice dry stretch ahead of us. And as I mentioned, it'll be a little chillier tomorrow and windier, brisk. But after that, we slowly climb up the thermometer as we get closer to the weekend.
All right, so now as we're talking about this and talking about it being warmer, one of the things we were saying before we went to break is we know this is the time of year when we're in fall, when people go to the leafers, go and start looking at leaves. Leaf peepers, you know. A little bit further north of us in like New England and Boston, they call them leafers, you know, in that area.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they call them leafers.
I call them leaf peeping.
Family
leaf
Guy. I
peepers.
was watching Family Guy. They're in Quahog, you know, which is
that.
in that area. But anyway.
Didn't know Family Guy was so educational. educational. Maybe I should tune in.
On some things.
Yeah.
But other than that, but no, you've been talking about this. The thing about the Leafs is that people are disappointed.
Right.
And
me included.
You did a story on this.
I did, yeah. I talked about it several weeks ago. So what we're seeing is a lot of muted color. We had very dry season as of late. We're about 8 inches below normal for the year in Central Park with rainfall, and then factor in the mild temperatures too. And that is, as a result, the leaves are either they're not losing their green fast enough, or rather they're shutting down the changing or the releasing of the green color, which would bring out the vibrant reds and oranges, and they're just going straight to brown. And so, and if we do get color, it's muted. That's what we're seeing right now across a lot of the area. And according to the data from the U.S. Drought Monitor, more than 40% of the nation is considered to be in a drought.
Wow.
At least it was until throughout the beginning of October. And that lack of water, as I just mentioned, causes the leaves to turn brown and fall off their branches faster than usual. So that's why you're seeing a difference. I don't think it's going to be as vibrant. That's what I was talking about in the story I did. I think it was like last week or maybe the week before that.
So
we're seeing that now.
the bright reds and the bright oranges,
yeah.
that's not the case.
Yeah, it's going to be muted, which we're already seeing. We kind of predicted it about 2 weeks ago, I think we did, and now we're seeing it. Yeah, so it's not going to be that spectacular. We'll get color, but it's just not going to be that really vibrant, rich color that we typically see. Now here in the city, we really don't get to peak until another couple of weeks. It's usually the last week of October, first weekend of November. I mean, think about the marathon.
Right.
Woo, that's always like spectacular color for the runners.
When you get to run through and look at it, right?
Yes, even the spectators too. I mean, it's a stunning time.
I'm totally acting like I've done it, but anyway.
I'm out there with the spectators. Goals.
But,
we have a question.
Okay.
Is it going to snow soon? Like, is the snow going to start sooner?
You mean here in New York City?
Yeah.
No, it's not going to snow anytime soon. We're going to be close to 70 by Sunday. Actually, right now for the 5, I'm working on a story about how possibly this slow hurricane season could it affect the winter. We're totally trying to tie it all in together, right? Because that's how the atmosphere works, right? It all kind of works together somewhere. If it's somewhere here, maybe it's on the other side of the world. It all seems to like mesh together.
That's quite interesting. And I was going to ask you, you're a mom, certainly you've taken the kids to go see, peep the leaves and things like that. Is it disappointing, when you have a situation like this and you know how much of a family event it is?
Especially when people like to do their fall family portraits, for the holiday cards, and for the beautiful color. It's really not looking that spectacular. Again, we'll have some color. It just won't be as vibrant. So those Instagram photo shoots, I got to plan something else.
All right. Speaking of that, I don't hide the fact that she and I are friends outside of work, best friends even, like that. Having said that, we've done a lot of social things. We've gone out to dinner. We've gone out to bars. Well, apparently one of the bars in our area on the east side was actually named one of the best bars in the world.
Really?
So, yeah, Jessica Formoso did the story, and then you and I are going to break it down after it plays. Take a look at this.
New York City is known for its nightlife scene, and with that, its cocktails.
It's cocktail culinary blend of deliciousness.
The new hotspot, Schmuck, in the East Village. As for the unusual name,
We knew we wanted to be in New York. We knew we wanted to be in this neighborhood, and it felt like the name was too good to pass on. So we were like, Schmuck is amazing. We wanted to keep it minimal. We wanted just to call it Schmuck, and everyone every now and again is a bit of a schmuck. So it's relatable, I guess.
the cocktail bar has been open less than a year, yet it has a lot to celebrate after being one of the New York City bars making the 2025 extended list of the world's 50 best bars. The new kid on the block snagged the number 59th spot.
We just had our heads down working. It's a voting process by 800 judges, so you never know who's a judge when they're coming in. But I guess we're just lucky. We're in New York, people came through, they liked it, and they voted for it.
Mo Al-Jaff is the co-owner. He says he didn't expect it, being that they were only open for 5 months when the voting took place.
We're trying to do like a very high quality of like cocktails and service, but in a very approachable, easygoing environment.
So what is it about Schmuck that's attracting crowds?
It's a cocktail bar dressed as a house party and with a heavy focus on design.
It's the decor, the vibe, the hospitality, and of course, the perfectly crafted drinks.
Harmony of design, ambiance, hospitality, cocktail, creativity. Any direction you look, I feel like they've set and exceeded the bar for the cocktail scene in New York.
The innovation, the excitement. I mean, you're experiencing something new with every drink. So it's all you could want, I think, in a good cocktail bar.
Now, Schmuck didn't make the top 50 list because they didn't meet the criteria, but everyone in here tells me that they will be on that list next year, and I have to say, I agree. In the East Village, I'm Jessica Formoso, Fox 5 News.
I want to have what she's having.
What was the green drink? That
Right.
was interesting.
Oh, it had like a block of something in it.
That was
that
like
a-
ice cube.
Or I thought it was a center of a pineapple.
Maybe.
We might have to go there and check it out.
All right, well done, Jessica Formoso. But all right, so they say the vibe. You know, how much does vibe influence where you would select
Very
the bar?
much so, absolutely. It's also the people you're with, though, because we can set our own vibe wherever we go, which we usually do.
Remember that time we were at the Dream on the roof? You know, was that your birthday? We went to the Dream Hotel, the rooftop bar.
Oh, yes.
You remember that?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll stop there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the time we went to Bubby's.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Oh, my
we
God,
had a good
that
time.
was all day.
Well,
That was all day.
Go to break, Brianna. No, I'm teasing. We were there the whole day.
Yeah, it was the whole morning crew.
Yeah.
We all went. It was a nice day like today.
We had the watermelon martinis. Remember, we took the picture.
It was a watermelon just drink.
The
And it was
watermelon
someone's
drink.
idea at the table to put
Put
vodka in it
vodka
and
in
bring
it.
one for everybody. And yeah.
So anyway, talking about bars and things like that, this would be a weekend, perhaps, to like one of the
Yes.
last times to sit outside and enjoy
Absolutely.
a
Whether
drink.
it's outdoor dining, outdoor lounges, outdoor watermelon drinks, this would be the weekend. You're right, Antoine. We're expecting beautiful weather, even for the leaf peeping. If you want to get out, enjoy some of the color, definitely go upstate, though, if you can go up the Palisades Parkway, which I actually did last week. I'm going to be there actually going up tomorrow. I did see color on the Palisades Parkway, so the further north you go, yes, you will see more in the way of color.
All right, Audrey, we're going to take a quick break and try to recover from that.
Where you can find color in the drinks at Schmuck's.
Interesting
that
name
too.
for the bar. I had forgotten about Bubblies. We were there the whole day. All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to come right back. Welcome back to a very lively Newsroom Live on this Wednesday, October 15th. And thank you, Ms. Nagel, just handing me a copy of a script I'll get to in just a moment. But one of the other stories, and before I go any further, we want to thank you for watching us on TikTok, whatever platform you're watching us on. Let me take these off now, so I don't want them to read too much. I had to put them in today. The contacts are over there. But we want to thank you for whatever platform you're joining us on. And all of the questions that you're putting in, just know that we, Brianna, my producer and I, we are definitely making sure we're on track of that. So all right, she's going to let me know. In the meantime, did you hear about this? Okay, apparently Smuckers, Smuckers, the jelly makers, in a little fight with Trader Joe's over copyright infringement, perhaps. So here's what's going on. Smuckers is suing Trader Joe's over what it claims is a copycat version of its Uncrustable sandwiches. So you may be familiar with that. That's the peanut butter and jelly sandwich where the sides are cut off. Now, Smuckers is saying that the packaging and design of the Trader Joe's version closely mimics its own version. And because of this, Smuckers accused Trader Joe's of deceiving customers into thinking that the store's product was sponsored or affiliated with it. So we know how popular TJ's is, for those of you who go there, those of us, I should say, have that. So we do want to make sure that you are aware of that. And then one of the other stories that we're also following today, a very special unveiling that we want to pass along to you right now. Now, Mayor Adams, other officials unveiled the NYPD Police Memorial Wall in Lower Manhattan in Battery Park City. Now, Commissioner Tisch was also there. This ceremony honors those who lost their lives in the line of duty. Now, it's located at Liberty Street and South End Avenue, and it was first dedicated in October 20th. So this is always an emotional moment, as you can see right there. But we wanted to put that in because of, how much respect we try to give, to the NYPD, to our first responders in general for keeping our city safe. You've heard the mayor, you've heard the governor, everyone, all of officials will let you know that New York City remains the safest large city that we have in the country, if not the world. So this is our way of making sure that those who've protected us and that have lost their lives, that we are certainly being respectful and paying homage to that. And Brianna, you bring me back up. How are our comments looking? Anybody over there?
Someone is saying, do you shop at Trader Joe's?
Yes, I do. Thank you for the question. And I was just asked, do I shop at Trader Joe's? Absolutely. Now, if you would ask me, what is it that I always get? I cook a little bit. So you know that the diced carrots, celery, and onions that comes in a little container, I tend to use that to start, like if I'm making something from scratch, like homemade chicken noodle soup, I do that. Oxtails, believe it or not, that's what I start when I make that. So yeah, now I'll go to Trader Joe's. Also, the popcorn is really, really good, and then the cheese. I have to be careful of cheese. I have to watch that now because of certain things that have happened in the last year like that. So I have to be careful of that. But no, their cheese selection is good. But then the bottom line, the prices. I'm sorry, Trader Joe's, you get a quality product for a not so much of a price that's going to break your bank. So yes, thank you for that question. We got one more? We got one more we want to get in? All right, so we're winding down. Again, whatever platform you're watching us on, we thank you. We thank you for joining with us. Newsroom Live gives us an opportunity to engage with you, to cover news outside of our traditional format of our newscast. And it's just our way of letting
From Fox 5, this is The Noon.
Some breaking news now at noon.
They come to Battle Center, they have a purpose and a vision of something to do. When they go home, they should be tired. They should be tired. They shouldn't come home and say,